Hey y'all, so I'm currently in the book of Shophetim, or Judges, Rulers, right? And one thing that I realized is that Yashar'al legit has a case of amnesia, right? And we see that time and time again because who ruled over them first? Moses, right? I'm talking about human rulers, okay? We know that Yah rules over Yashar'al, but I'm talking about human rulers. So we have Moses, right? Moses dies, and there was already someone there to take his place, which was Joshua, okay? They still did evil, even with Joshua as their ruler, but that's not the point. Joshua dies, and then there's Caleb, right? And so Caleb, who, by the way, gives his daughter to his nephew. So she marries her first cousin, right? Because Othniel is the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, which, sometimes the ages, I'm just like, because if Kenaz is Caleb's younger brother and he gives his daughter to his nephew, that make her a cougar. Okay, let me get back to the point, okay? So they have Caleb, right? And then after Caleb, the next ruler is Othniel. Or no, Othniel. Let me pronounce that correctly. Othniel, right? Then after him, after he dies, what does Yashar'al do? Let me turn. Yes. The land had rest for 40 years. Then Othniel, son of Kenaz, died, and the children of Yashar'al again did evil in the eyes of Yah. And Yah made Eglon, sovereign of Moab, strong against Yashar'al. Now, Eglon was a very fat man who Ehud took care of, if you know what I'm saying. Ehud dies. It says, when Ehud was dead, the children of Yashar'al again did evil in the eyes of Yah, and he sold them into Jabin, the sovereign of Canaan, who reigned in Hatzor. And if you know the story, you know the story with Deborah and Jael. That's one of my favorite stories, because Jael, she was ruthless. She was like, come on in this tent. I will give you safety. And then she nailed his head to the ground. Okay. So then, he dies. And then the children of Yashar'al did evil in the eyes of Yah, and Yah gave them into the hand of Midian for 7 years. All right? So, then Yashar'al cries out because I guess the Midianites were just too harsh. It was too much for them. And Yah's like, I didn't give y'all rulers, and y'all didn't listen. Like, why am I to do it again? But does he do it again? Yes, because he's a loving father. He is. So what does he do? Gideon. He doesn't make him ruler, but he tells Gideon, hey, go in this strength of yours, and you shall save Yashar'al from the hand of the Midianites. And Gideon was like, okay, but I need you to show me, give me a sign that it's truly you. And so God gives him signs, and he was like, okay. So then he has, and I wrote the numbers down because I had to do some math. So he started with 32,000 men to go take care of the Midianites. And y'all was like, nah, that's too many men. Because then if y'all win, y'all are going to think, the men are going to think that they won by the hands of themselves, not by y'all's hand. He was like, nah. So he told them, a few tests, right? To get rid of some men. So he was like, whoever's afraid, get rid of them. That was 10,000 men who left. There's 22,000 left who were scared. So he was left with 10,000 men, right? And so then he took them down to the water. He was like, whoever laps up the water like a dog, that's who you're going to take with you. Out of that 10,000, only 300. So he only had 300 men to take care of the Midianites, right? They take care of the Midianites. Okay, and I'm missing a whole lot of stuff, but I have a point here that Yashar'al literally has amnesia. So take care of the Midianites, right? Then Yashar'al was like, hey, Gideon, we want you to be our ruler, you and your son, Yether. And Gideon was like, no, I'm not going to be your ruler. Neither is my son, because Yah is your ruler. However, what y'all can do is give me the spoils that y'all got from the Midianites. Give me that. So he takes the spoils, right? He makes a shoulder garment and sets it up in his city of Ophrah. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Oprah, but it's Ophrah. And all Yashar'al went whoring after it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and to his house. So Gideon ended up being a ruler over them anyway for 40 years, right? Now, I also wanted to make a note in here that you know how David and Solomon had like a bunch of wives and a bunch of children? So did Gideon. Gideon had 70 sons who were his own offspring from his loins. For he had many wives, and his concubine, who was in Shechem, also bore him a son, and he gave him the name Abimelech, which the fact that he's born by a concubine kind of attests to the fact that it was dumb things that he does later, but that's neither here nor there. That's not the point of this message. So Gideon died, right? They buried him, all that. The children of Yashar'al, again, went whoring after the Baals and made, I'm not even going to pronounce that name, their mighty one. The children of Yashar'al did not remember Yah, their Elohim, who had delivered them from the hands of all their enemies round about, nor did they show loving commitment to the house of Jerubbaal, Gideon, according to all the good which he did for Yashar'al. So y'all just forgot everything. Everything. And I think that when I first read Judges or started reading Judges last year, because that's when I started reading the Bible, February 5th, 2024, I had stopped at that point and skipped all the way to the New Testament because I was getting agitated. But here's the thing. Yashar'al, for whatever reason, they had to have a ruler. Either they had to have a physical ruler like everybody else, like a physical man, right? They wanted a king like everyone else, right? Because everybody else had a king who they could physically see. They were like, Yah is not enough. We can't see him. So, anyway, or if they didn't have a ruler, then they would worship the gods, right? And it's like, how soon y'all forgot? Because there was a part in here, I don't remember where it was, that I want to say it was somewhere in Judges. There was a part in here where it said that this generation did not know Yah. They didn't know him. They didn't know anything about him because the previous generation had not told them about him. Oh, here it is. In Joshua chapter 2, verse 10, and all that generation were likewise gathered to their fathers, and another generation arose after them who did not know Yah, nor the work which he had done for Yashar'al. Then the children of Yashar'al did evil in the eyes of Yah and served the Baals, and forsook Yah Elohim of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, and went after other mighty ones of the people who were all around them, and they bowed down to them and provoked Yah. So they forsook Yah and served Baal and the Ashtoreths, whatever. And it's like, all of these things were supposed to be done in memorial of Yah, so they would pass it on from generation to generation. Those were his strict instructions. So whenever your sons ask, why do you do this? You tell them, this is why. What happened in history, this is why. This is what Yah did. They didn't do that. They didn't. And the thing is, it's not much different today, because I feel as though we as a people, we as Yashar'al want to be like everybody else, right? We want to be like everybody else. We want to be equal to everybody else. That's like the whole civil rights movement, and you wanting to have the same rights as these other folk. That's not what we were meant to do. We were not meant to be like everyone else. We were always meant to be set apart. No. But the thing is, we forget. We see something flashy, we forget all about Yah. We see something flashy, we see something that we can get immediately, we see something that we don't have to pray about, we see something that we can just have, that we don't have to really do anything to have, we can just get it. But that's not how we should want to get something, right? It's not how we should want to get something. And so we have to always, in everything that we do, remember Yah, because he is the one who has given us everything that we have. He's given you the house that you live in. He's given you the car that you drive, the job that you have. Everything that you have, you did not get on your own. And that was Yashar'al's problem. They were like, nope, we got this on our own. We did this on our own. That's what they wanted. They wanted to commend and give credit to themselves and not anybody else. They're very self-centered, and they're all about self, right? But then, like it says, they went whoring after the Baals. And this happens again and again and again all through the Old Testament. It happens again and again. And the thing is, like, they'll have stints where they're good for a certain amount of years until that person dies, and then it's like we forgot everything. Oh, amnesia. We didn't got knocked in the head. We don't remember anything about Yah. We don't remember anything about the feast days. We don't remember anything. Nothing. And that's why a lot of us are in the situations that we're in now. That's why we're under a curse. That's why. That is why we are where we are today. Because Yashar'al has amnesia. They're not passing down things from generation to generation. And I feel like my generation is the generation that's like, hey, no, we need to turn back to Yah and pass this down to our children. My generation is what is currently doing that right now. And I don't know how it started or why, but Yah's like waking up everybody. He's waking us up, and he's like, listen, open your eyes, the dry bones. Remember me. Yeah, we have bad memory, but not anymore. But that's all I really wanted to bring to y'all. Like, remember him in all your ways. Remember him. That's all.